Movement is medicine. Sharpens your mind, balances your body, fixes your focus. Elbow your neighbor and tell them, you got to bust a move. Dr. King challenged racism in this nation, but realized he couldn't do it sitting behind a pulpit, which is why he sprung into, here it is, the civil rights movement. He marched on Washington. He pulled down the curtain of segregation for the mistreatment in the South to be seen by the entire world. He pushed back against unfair voting laws. He pulled down Supreme Court decisions of division and stood against barking dogs and fire hoses. To be clear, it was not an event, it was a movement. It was protest, legal challenges, civil disobedience, and boycotts, stretching every part of the American body politic all at the same time, because he knew stagnation would be the death of us. I rise this morning because we as a people have become lethargic, sluggish, and sedentary, because we've been sitting so long in comfortability that we no longer feel inclined to make a move. You are in such a rush to go to brunch, to go play golf, to binge watch on Netflix, that making a move is no longer even entertained in your subconscious. ICE in Minneapolis has killed an innocent woman named Renee Macklin Good. And as of this hour, the officer will face no penalty. We're going to have to make a move. An ICE agent threw tear gas in a car full of black children, some of whom are in ICU in this moment. Just this week, one ICE agent has been charged with SAing a detainee because it was the only way he would allow her to get visits. 1,000 more agents are headed to Minneapolis this week, not even realizing, ladies and gentlemen, that ICE is now the new slave patrol. The Klan no longer wears hoods, they now wear masks. They are no longer volunteers, they're being paid to oppress brown and black people. The budget for ICE must be frozen immediately. If it's in Minneapolis today, it'll be in Marietta tomorrow. If you don't say anything, racism and bigotry will continue to wield its head. But I'm so glad there's some witnesses in the building that understand I cannot sit still when other people are being marginalized. Donald Trump said civil rights has made white men get treated poorly. If they're getting treated poorly, then black people are below welfare. They want to go door to door and arrest people with no warrants and no probable cause, and all while he has named himself as the acting president of Venezuela. He's asking Jamaicans and Haitians to self-deport, but has said nothing about illegal Germans and Italians and Swedes because they believe, here it is, that if you are black or brown, you are illegal, but if you are European, then you are permissible. Ladies and gentlemen, the cost of living is skyrocketing. Upcoming elections are being questioned. And military leaders who speak up for accountability are having their pensions being cut. We need a movement.
The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
Yeah, so he going for 5 years to retake everything.
No, because it ain't really making sense right now. Everybody, it's still getting more than the police.
No. Why? Because I find the crime rate so high. We're not feeling safe anymore. We need more patrol in the area.
I believe it should be extended because security is very important to this country. A lot of crime. Too much of crime taking place in this country. You're not safer. Anyway, you're not safer. And I believe it should be extended and more officers around to protect the people.
Well, personally, I don't think we have a state of emergency going on because there's a lot of crime in the country happening. And for me, there's no detection of crime because people getting robbed all over the place. And the cameras that's supposed to be working to detect cars from point A to point B, I don't know if they're using it or if they're not using it. So a state of emergency to me is how don't make sense.
No, it really makes sense. I see in that it making sense. Yes, because people are safe in the country. Yes, because people are safe in the country.
Yes, because people are safe in the country.
Well, all you vote for SOE. Like that SOE not pay now.
The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
Final Hour Christian Ministries invites you to their annual Visitors Day service. End of days. Where are we in 2026? On Saturday, April 25th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Mandela Hall Center of Excellence with Pastor Mackenzie and the Final Hour family. See you there. Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk.
I started to run when I scope out my country. I walk by a gun, ole, cause that is what they promise we. A lot's going on in this sun, so I come here to bring wisdom, so we don't burn down. We lovely society. See, a new government has the assignment to put we country into alignment. But every time they read us with their ego, it's the vulnerable who feeling that below. Lord, is it ignorance or is it arrogance? I don't know what to call it in this instance. Look at paradise right in front we eyes, but we still want to talk about who we despise. Tell me where else can we go? If we start to mash up the good things we know. Tell me where else can we go? If we treat we traditions like a Barbie show, you could fix everything on we island. Put gunships on we back like a tyrant. You could put 10 radars all up Scarborough. But don't forget, this is Trinidad. We love we freedom, and every citizen will agree that no oppression will be accepted by our Trini. We come from long days on the ground, working hard until daylight come, so we'll see it wrong to be a financial donkey.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, by extension, the world. Those of you, wherever you're listening to me, thank you very, very, very much for being on Constructive Talk this evening. Well, here now, this evening program is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm not going to come on just yet. I want you to share the live. I want you to click on the share icon and share this live this evening. This evening conversation is going to be really, really epic. It's going to be really, really good. Trust me, you're going to enjoy it. Yeah, you're going to enjoy it. Real enjoy this evening program. And I tell you, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. You hear what I'm telling you earlier? You hear what I'm saying to earlier? We're going to have a hot program this evening. Trust me when I tell you that.
Take one look around. Even lingo and all could see confusions in tongue, and it's affecting everybody. Politicians and Facebook trolls, even Kaisonians
right.
Their role. The world's upside down.
So hear what? If we share the live, we're going to get it. Good evening. Good evening. Hello?
Hi, Joanne here.
How are you, Miss Joanne?
I'm tired, you know.
Yes, I know
I'm
you're
tired, but I'm in the land of the living, so I'm good.
I know you're tired. So Trinidad and Tobago, we have, I just call it, you know, when we have the union people on, they just come with a different kind of fire, you know. They just come with a different vibes. And this evening, I have with me the president of the telecommunications. How it is called here? How it go again?
The Communication Workers Union Secretary General.
Communication. Yeah, last year make news this evening, Miss Lady.
Yeah, beat some bobolis.
You ain't easy at all. You not
well,
easy.
You know, that's a tradition, eh? You know, there's a tradition for people who may not comprehend or accept that, and you know, because you know they'll have the naysayers talking about look at violence and that kind of thing. There's no violence in that. This is a tradition. Most trade unions are accustomed doing this over the years. I remember the last time we beat Boboli was under Comrade Remy, Joseph Remy, where we put a song licking on them sometime between 2014 and 2017 at that. You know, so this is nothing new. There's a tradition. We just did it today because tomorrow is a holiday.
So you ain't easy. You beat up your Bobolis and them. today. So here now, I want to really, before we go any further, I want to thank you for your availability to come on the program and share. I know that the last time you were on, you got calls. People would have thanked you. People would have said to you, hey, I hear you on Constructive Talk, that kind of thing. I know you got good feedback.
Yes.
You got good feedback.
Yes, I did.
Right?
I did.
And I want to thank you for taking up the opportunity to be with me this evening. I know tomorrow is a holiday. I know you had a busy day today. And you, in spite of what, Trinidad and Tobago and by extension the world, this lady called me. She said, hey, we still on for tonight? I said, yes. And that says, you know what that says to me? That you want people to be informed and educated about what is happening where trade union and where workers' rights are concerned. You know, and again, thank you very, very, very much. You know, this evening again, I was looking at the news, and when I saw you made the news this evening, I said, oh my goodness, my friend in the news again. And I said to myself, you're a real champion, you're a warrior. You are a warrior, and few people can
tell you this. A minute. You know, sometimes we say things in the public domain and they are frequently misconstrued. Okay. And you know, it is important and instructive to note. I heard the news report that I said that I am going to provide invoices to the Minister of Public Utilities, Barry Padarat, and the leader of the opposition, Penelope Beckles. I never said that. As a matter of fact, what I said is the information that the union promised the public at large in 3 weeks, which is probably about this week, would be given to the Minister of Public Utilities and the opposition, because we believe, we are saying, the union, we are not confident that Minister Padarat will do anything with it, for the mere reason that the persons involved are appointees by the UNC, right? And the opposition should not only be there to oppose, but to keep the government to account. I never said anything about providing invoices, because why would I provide information that is already out there? The information that the union has in its possession right now concerning the invoices and another invoice, right, is something that we could leak in the morning. But as a matter of fact, we are of the firm opinion that Barry Padarat will not do anything, and this has nothing to do with the invoice. But what we also said is we also have to be a responsible union. And we are not about breaking up the company or mashing up the company or further destroying the image and the brand of the company. The executive did that already when they had the retreat with the public shaming, as I would have intimated ad nauseum. But what we are also saying is, instead, just like the cyber attack report, when we said call for the report, it had certain things that cannot be in the public domain. And certain things we got counsel on it, that we should now raise it in a specific place or give it to a certain cadre of persons and let them let them deal with it. But we have no faith, because at the end of the day, something I would want to go into further, but I just wanted to say that. And very quickly, I would want to touch, when you give me the opportunity, the issue where the headline I saw, where is Roger, and that Roger is Comrade Ansel Roger. And I would want to just, when you permit me, I would want to touch on that a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Because I like to bring context to things.
And clarity.
Yes. I don't like to leave room for ambiguity at all.
That's important. That is what Constructive Talk is about, bringing the facts and the truth to the people, because we're not here about sensationalizing things, you know, because you beat Bubuli today, and because of this, I want to get, because let me tell you something, and you could tell people for a fact that I talked to you about coming on before you didn't even tell me I was going to do this today. I spoke to you earlier on this week, and I said to you, Miss Joanna, I would like to have you on the program. And you said, sure, yeah, man. But you didn't even tell me. You didn't say Thursday, but Thursday I'm going and beat some Boboli. So I will come on and we go, you know, You didn't even tell me that. I didn't even know nothing about. All this program was planned long before that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's something
it's not about gallery thing.
No.
You know?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not about that.
And to be honest with you again, you know, to those who listening and to those who you know, wondering, well, hey, you know, look she on the program here again to no, this we had promised to have her back on. Remember that? I had said to her, I said, I want to have you back because I know that you said after the 3 weeks, and you rightfully said it, this week brought it up to the 3 weeks. So we on target, we on point. We not on sensationalism, as you rightfully said. We on informing and bringing the information and the truth to the people. So you see what's happening with some of your comrades, the nurses. I saw where you would have joined up with Tutor.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What made you? What urged you to join up with your comrades?
Well, you know, it's a philosophy that we are rooted and grounded in the trade union movement, and that stands on a principle that a worker affected anywhere will be represented and defended by workers everywhere.
Right.
And we can't call somebody a comrade or call a president or a general secretary in some cases a comrade and see them, you know, going through a struggle and not lend to it. That is what camaraderie is about. You understand? And that is something that we do. So, for instance, the Estate Police Association, they had a protest demonstration concerning MTS. I was unable to go, right? Because, I had to attend to business at work. But Comrade Edie from Nurses, Edie Stewart, the president of the TTRNA, he showed up and showed solidarity, and other members. So this is not something new. This is something that we pledge by, and this is something that we support in the joint trade union movement. When they touch one, they touch all. So it is customary and you know, a normal thing to show up and give that level of support.
Great. That is so good. Because as I said before, when I heard any news that you were there, I said, hey, if the nurses and the teachers and Miss Joanne join up, that is going to be something to look at.
Even contractors, they have been out, but we were unable to attend because they had their protests in South.
Yes.
You know, so right now, the active unions, and active, not saying that the rest are inactive, but I'm speaking about who are actually taking their fight to the streets. In terms of protest demonstration, right now you have seen and continue to see the nurses, the contractors, estate police, teachers, and communication workers union. So at the end of the day, these unions are actively engaging our members and bringing our concerns to the fore. And all of us, will lend support when necessary. And that is not, as I said, that is not something new, and it will not stop.
Well, that's good to know that the camaraderie is still there, despite what we are seeing, despite what we are hearing, because there are people who are very disappointed in persons who they would have believed have workers' best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Very disappointed.
If you would permit me a little bit, comrade, let me just touch on that, because you see, in Trinidad, we love bacchanal, old talk, and we love, confusion. And I just want to put something to rest. Today at the protests, I asked, and of course the reporters would not report everything. They report what they believe will sell. So you saw the headline, CW, where is Roger? And that Roger that they are speaking about is the president of the Joint Trade Union Movement. My question on the protest today was not to attack the president of JTUM. I believe in constructive criticism, and I believe in being open and transparent. What I said when the question was posed to me, what are my thoughts about Labour's involvement in the government? I sought to respond by indicating The Labour representatives in the government are Clyde Elder, Ernesto Kiza, and Leroy Batiste. Right? I said, and we have seen that Comrade Elder, when he was the former, because I took over from him, right? So he was the Secretary General from 2017 straight to 2023. And everyone knows Comrade Elder was the most vociferous, youthful, vociferous trade unionist. And what I said, they now sit in the seat of power and we cannot hear from them. I went on to say what is more alarming to the public is the amount of persons being jobless and the voice of JTUM, to which the Communication Workers Union is a part of. So I can't beat something that I'm a part of. I still have to have respect for the movement and the umbrella union. But I said the deafening silence of the movement, much so the president of JTUM, which is Comrade Roger, we want to hear from him. We want to hear from our leader, because we have seen, I read, I think it was yesterday, Comrade Anisette released a solidarity response for the nurses, but we are not hearing anything from the president of the Joint Trade Union Movement, Comrade Roger. And what I also said, and I ended off by, I said, if persons who are unemployed cannot hear from the persons that are placed there or expected to defend them, and if we continue to be silent, and I didn't say him alone, but we, Labour will be dead. But of course, the news wouldn't carry that. They will carry the more sensational part, right? So people would say, well, like there's some kind of breakaway, or there's some kind of division in the movement. There is no division. There might be a difference of opinion, but we still report to the president of JTUM. We are under an umbrella body. There are 15 trade unions under the JTUM umbrella. But what we are saying, and let me say what the Communication Workers Union continue to advocate in private and public spaces, is that Labour is too silent. The voice of Labour is too silent. We need to come out of this comfort zone. For whatever reason, I also said, when they asked me about Labour in the government, I spoke about a UNC government with a coalition of interests. But whose interests, and that is the question, whose interests are we really coming out there and talk about? Because I could recall similarly, as Comrade Elder would have been out there fighting, carrying the fight and carrying the struggle. Comrade Roger is the same way. Well, was the same way, but I haven't heard from him in a little while. You understand? And people are looking on. And we need to come out. And I'm saying we as a collective, all the unions under the trade union, under the JTUM umbrella, we need to come out. We need to come out. We can't sing solidarity forever. And when those who labor holy reigns of power, and we on mute while people jobless. So I just needed to clear that up. There is no bitterness, CW versus this one, and CW fighting down Comrade Roger. It have nothing to do with that. We call a spade a spade. And all we are saying is the Joint Trade Union Movement should join, let's just say, in together, just like Comrade Anisette, and release something. But let us hear something. Let us hear something. When a person loses their job, there's an indictment. And persons are losing their jobs, and you are not hearing the movement. And I think that is an open and fair comment. So I just needed to clear that up.
Now, while I hear you and I understand clearly what you are asking for, but you have a long wait, right? While it's in your right, to ask and to want a response and expecting a response from Mr. Roger, while I could tell you as a young man growing up in the media, I looked up to Mr. Roger a whole lot. Still have some respect for him and never lose any respect for him. But based on how I see things happening today, I don't hold him a breath now. And you have your right to ask, because it's basically asking for help, because hear what, this is your business. Union is your business. Union is what you this is what how to put it, boy. This is your life. This is people are expecting that if they are being advantaged on the workplace, the unions are the ones to stand up for them. And I'll draw example, and that is why I appreciate and I love what the nurses are doing, because you can't tell me that, all right, we were expecting to be part of the 10% arrangement with the PSC. You said to us, no, we fall under the RHAs. Okay, the RHAs have to budget for our 10% or to budget for our increase. Now you're telling us that we are a part of a pool. We registered in a pool and we decide, well, hey, this is from San Fernando, decide, yeah, what, we're going to pull out our colleagues in Mount Hope because they are short staff. They need ICU nurses, they need theater nurses, they need this, they need that. We are coming up the road to help them in any which way that we see fit or that we can. You are telling us that here what's going on. We're not going to we're going to cut you conveniently. You're bringing the CPO and say that the CPO said that the amount of money that nurses are working for, or what the amount of money that they're getting through the pool system, is too much. It needs to be regularized. The same damn CPO who say he can't get involved in my 10%, telling me now, or making recommendations that I can't get the money that I justly work for in pool. Man, I find that to be real unfair. It says to me that you don't care. But how it is, and I keep asking the question and nobody seems to be able to answer me. Why only Mr. Tim Gopi Singh have a problem? How come you're not hearing from the San Fernando SWARA chairman? How we not hearing SWARA chairman?
You're not even hearing the Minister of Health.
Maybe Tim Gopi Singh is the new Minister of Health. Maybe we asking for a friend.
Problem, eh? And people, you would hear it all the time. But I need to say it, and I will continue saying it. When people call out the ills that are facing workers, from the time you open your mouth and you speak against any government, you are labeled the opposition. So I am reading comments where persons are beating the nurses because they are asking some of those same questions that you are asking, and everybody in the public domain. And hear what they're saying. Why they wasn't talking about this under the last 10 years? And till I am seeing where persons showing them where Comrade Stewart and they took this fight under the PNM, right? And we are seeing only you see these politicians up in your face. They promise you, and a promises are comfort are fool, but they promise you a set of things to buy in because election is there. And what happens now? Where's the prime minister? Where's the prime minister in this thing? You're not the prime minister just by name, You are the prime. That prime have a certain connotation. Don't you? I believe at some point in time, having labor, you see, we'd like to talk, we have plenty labor in the government. But all right, if 3 of them are unable to make some type of pronouncement, you as the prime minister, you don't think at this point or this juncture, you supposed to step in or instruct the Minister of Health to summon an urgent meeting, or to even tell or caution Tim Gopi Singh, hey, your comments might just be adding more gas to the fire. Hush your mouth. But we're not seeing that. What we are seeing is abuse on top of abuse, because these workers, these nurses, right? During COVID, they were the best thing since sliced bread. Everybody knew how important they were, and they were essential when they give their time, energy, and everything, right? But no, you're reading the comments. They don't work. They too greedy. They this, they that, and we all know, because we have at some point in time we ended up in the public health system, and they are understaffed and they are overworked. And people out there not understanding this thing. We're in 2026, people still working on 2013 salaries when cost of living in itself skyrocketing. And I keep asking, where is the burden of adjustment? These politicians, they don't like it, but we have to say it. Politicians, to me, they are good salespersons because they talk a nice talk, they get a buy-in, and when they get in the seat of power and autonomy, what happens after? They're forgetting people. So my thing is, people saying the nurses have no right to protest and they overdoing it. But we stand in solidarity with them. And as a matter of fact, I think it's the minority right now, which includes Tim Gopi Singh, who are actually speaking so negative concerning workers in the nursing sector. It is unbearable and it is unreasonable. And I think at this point in time, it is overdone where the Prime Minister should step in. Don't have this thing going on so long. Because who's suffering really and truly? Patients too, Not just the nurses, patients too.
I hear you. But again, people choose to turn a blind eye, especially when they support a particular party.
Party, correct.
So at the end of the day, you have the people who would say, yeah, what's going on now? I agree. I do agree with the nurses and them because when the PNM was there, they didn't say anything. And that's why people like Rambles and others will come out and they will show you, hey, you're lying, you're misleading people. Yeah. Because when the PNM was there, the nurses and them did say what that to say. And let me tell you how much so that these people are so deceitful and misleading. Mr. That same Edie Stott, when the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, had a conversation with the nation, Dr. Rowley would put a microphone in front of a hall or a panyard, wherever, and that same Mr. Edie Stott went to the conversation with the Prime Minister and asked the question, why are we training so many nurses and they cannot be hired in the RHAs? That same Mr. Edie Stott would have pointed out all the ills in the health sector. Talked about when he brought up the point of male nurses are is something treasured in Trinidad and Tobago. There are very few male nurses and they should be treated special.
Yeah.
And he listed a whole lot of stuff. But the point that touched Dr. Rowley at that point in time was, why are we training nurses and not hiring them? Dr. Rowley then turned to the Minister of Health at that time, who was Mr. Terence Yalsing, and asked him, what this man saying is the truth? Let's talk to us, Minister of Health. And you know what the minister said? He said, well, we have to work with the Minister of Finance to find the money to pay the nurses to hire new nurses. And Dr. Rowley said, that doesn't make no sense. That doesn't make any sense. And that is what I'm saying. That when they would say that Mr. Edie Stott wasn't saying nothing under the PNM, that was not true. He was very he look, I don't even want to go. Let me not be talking your business. We go have you. Here I plan to do a program with you, Mr. Edie Stott, and Miss DeBeek.
Yeah, contractors. Yeah.
Of course,
president.
Of course, I have to do a program with the three of you. I want to do a program with the three of you on.
I think you should add. Comrade Richardson, Derek Richardson, as well, from the Estate Police Association, because he could lend to a certain fight that he's experiencing on behalf of his members as well. Estate Police Association. So it would be nice to have him on the program as well.
And also we could get the teachers.
Of course.
Right.
Well,
use the communications lady, So I will talk to you first to link it up. So I want to play the video for people who missed it. All right, that what happened on the news this evening. I want to play the video so that again you can bring clarity to what people are about to see and hear, and also we can get into the discussion of anyway when after we play the video, because I want to find out how this, if you find out any information from me. But we'll play the video. Let's go to the video, and then we will touch on the video, and you will bring some clarity to some of the things. I know that you already done it. And let me say good evening to the people who are joining us on live. The live numbers going up, Miss Lady. I don't know, when you come on this program, like people that's just I don't know how they know you was coming on. I didn't even make an announcement. But yeah, look,
I feel as you. I feel as you. I feel as you. I feel as the host. I feel as you.
Somebody's saying, let's read some of the comments before we go to the live. Somebody say Marvin sell out big time. Who's Marvin?
I don't know.
I don't know who's Marvin.
I don't have anybody on my executive called Marvin.
Marvin, right? And somebody said 2 unions sell out. That's another view that people have. People said PSA is a big sellout. Well, last night I had a lawyer on who's my father, and we had some people calling, a gentleman from PSA calling and some others calling, and said that they haven't received the 10% as yet.
Well, I can't speak to that because I don't have any jurisdiction over PSA.
And you're not hearing from Miss Felicia. There's a whole letter that is out where she would have urged nurses and they to vote for the United National Congress so that they could get their money. There's another issue. So we have people on the live who are commenting, and we will get into it because Miss DeBeek and Miss DeBeek is a real elder and an astute, beautiful lady. Because that when she was on the last time, people were like saying that they have no confidence in the unions anymore. And that lady brought a calm. She brought a calm. She brought a level of, hey, listen, don't judge us based on other person's disappointment. Other persons may have disappointed you. Other persons may have done whatever. Let us show you our worth. And she is on a fight, battle, warfare, boy. So, let me play your video. And you're going to come back and you're going to clear up again and give you an opportunity to tell us why you all are out there and, how far has he... Well, when we come back.
Sure.
The Communication Workers Union is warning tonight that trade unionism is on the verge of collapse. Outside TSTT's headquarters today, Secretary General Joanne Ojiri said, despite Labour's presence in Parliament, leaders remain silent while workers continue to lose their jobs. She also raised concerns about the lack of unity among unions, especially those that rallied with the ruling political party.
Clyde Elder, the minister in the Ministry of Public Utilities, he was the most vociferous trade unionist. And now he sits in the seat of power in the parliament. We have Leroy Batiste, he was formerly from the PSA, and we have Ernesto Kiza. But where is their voice? What says Ansel Roger and the Joint Trade Union Movement as the head of JTAM?
During a lunchtime protest today, CWU members demanded accountability from Chairman Kern Das and 2 senior executives. They portrayed them as bubblies and beat the effigies, accusing them of creating poor working conditions and questioning Das over a $165,000 retreat funded by taxpayers.
Here we have the Minister of Public Utilities telling the country that the chairman and by extension the board of directors of TSTT failed or refused to even update him, much less seek an approval for $165,000 spent. And the union is asking the question, who have more ranks, Kern Das or the minister?
Ojir assured that the union will release documents related to the retreat invoices to both the Minister of Public Utilities and the opposition leader. CNC3 News reached out to Ministers Ernesto Kiza, Leroy Batiste and Clyde Elder. Now, Elder answered our call but did not want to comment.
Oh, yes. Elder answered their calls but refused to comment. Elder answered their calls, but refused to comment. You know what I want to ask you? Hello?
Go ahead. Yes, right here. Go ahead.
The last time you were on, you talked about the you all would have gone to the negotiation tables, the bargaining table, and say, here what? This is what, and they offered you all 0-0. I didn't want to see it. 0-0. Correct me, right? 0-0-0 and 5-15.
No consolidation of COLA.
All right, no consolidation of COLA and $15,000.
Yes, which equates to a 5%. They claimed a one-off payment, which would work out to the sum of $15,000. And I round it off. If 15,000 is a round off, it's 14,000 something.
Oh, jeez.
Which is not an offer. That is not an offer, because 0-0-0 offer cannot start at 0. Zero doesn't have a value. And $15,000 as a one-off is an insult. So they didn't bring an offer. They insulted the workers.
Have you all had a meeting since then?
No.
No.
What we agreed to have a meeting. I believe it was the 25th of March. I think I might be a little rusty with my dates, but we sought a postponement. The mere reason, the union requested to have the meeting postponed because I had some health challenges. So I did write to them asking them for a postponement.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And when is he? When you have an idea when you all will be able to
well, for the month of April and May, we are very booked. So we are looking at probably early June or mid-June as it stands right now, because we have a lot of confirmed meetings. And to be quite honest, I don't think that the company is ready to advance right now. So I'm looking at the delay right now to actually give them, or let good sense prevail and have them take this opportunity and this time to reflect, rest and reflect, and come back with something on the table. So we're giving them, I mean, it's a move that the union believe right now. I mean, there are certain things, you must respect that there are certain things I would not be able to divulge now.
Yeah. I just wanted to know if anything had happened. I know the last time you were on, I know you had told us that you all were planning to meet with them again.
I had some challenges, and I wrote to the company asking them to postpone the date, of which they did respond, and they indicated that we could propose dates. I have not done so because of the tight schedule for the month of April and May.
Okay. The feeding cow. Cow, is it still continuing, or have you all been able to get the invoices of how much these artists were paid?
Right. So let me deal with that one time, but let me just follow a little bit from the clip, right? And I think before I said that the beating of the Boboli, the Good Friday Boboli, is a tradition by the CW. So as I said, and I had to pull it up very quickly to make sure that I was accurate in what I'm saying. So in 2015 is where we had to beat one, or we did beat one, and this was the TAC chairman then, Selby Wilson, right? And this was concerning a disagreement over TSTT change of control. And then in 2016, we also beat some Bobolis from TSTT, and then of course recently today. Right. So I just wanted to make that clear. And it's not a personal attack on anybody's character. That is important to note. It's not a personal attack. Right. It's not something because we don't like a particular person. It concerns their duty or their function or lack thereof in the organization. So I need to be clear. And just to now marry your question concerning the invoices. So we have the same invoices, and we also have some more information And this is where I would want to touch on the minister, Minister Barry Padarat, who we saw and would have heard coming out a mere 22 to 23 days, because this flared up since March 9th. And here we have the Minister of Public Utilities coming on the 31st of March, some 22 to 23 days after, with a response to me, and by extension, the executive of the Communication Workers Union. We found his response to be a PR response, PR/damage control response. And we are saying that on the basis of, why would you, after 22 days, come and tell the public that the board of directors didn't consult, much less if they didn't consult you, that means you didn't know. But you are saying now that the board of directors, led by a chairman, Mr. Kerndas, who recently got appointed as the chairman of NEL, now you are telling the country that the board, led by this chairman, is a law unto themselves. So we are saying, are you comfortable as the Minister of Public Utilities to come out and say that? I would have never said that. What I would have done, I would have said, I support, based on the evidence I have seen, that the invoices are to the tune of $165,000, not as the amount quoted by the Express. I mean, not the Express, the Guardian, and I would have left it there. By now coming out and saying that, what he has now said, and I would want to ask him, and I mean, we will have a statement on it further. Was there a breach of fiduciary duty? And if so, what are the consequences? Because he said, I mean, I gleaned from what he said as if he scolded them or he called them to account. But I am saying, how was that done? Why have we not seen somebody walk in? And if we want to draw a nexus to it, let us go back to Lisa Agard and Shiva Ramnarayan. Let us go back to that. When, if you could recall, Marvin Gonzalez was the Minister of Public Utilities at the point in time. A statement was prepared by the then CEO, given to Sean Roach, the then chairman, who then gave that statement to Marvin Gonzalez, who said in the parliament certain things concerning the cyber incursion attack. Because the information was not probably accurate for whatever reason, Marvin Gonzalez felt, and I'm saying this because this is what it was said in the public domain, as if, he misled the parliament. But what happened then? What happened then? Lisa Agard, whether she took one for the team, but she was relieved as the CEO. And if you could recall, and if you go back to check any newspaper clippings, if you Google right now, CW calls for the firing of the board of directors, you would see where we called for the whole board to be fired, because at the end of the day, the chairman is the person who was responsible for passing that information to the minister who misled the parliament and by extension the country. So we are saying, if Kerndas is the chairman of TSTT now, if somebody could, they got the pink slip, Lisa Agard got her pink slip, whether it was fear, accountability, and that is what we're not seeing in this country. But she was made to pay the price for an error. And she left, and when that happened under the PNM government. And the same Communication Workers Union beat Marvin Gonzalez and say fire the entire board, because the board, the chairman, have a responsibility, and he is not separate and apart from the blame. So right now, what is Barry Padarat saying? Because Kerndas is a UNC appointee, right? And the union making noise, he just come out to tell the public, all right, the chairman or the board didn't tell me about it, and I reprimand them, and are talking about how the country under financial problems, it could be $1 or $5 million, but at the end of the day, I talk to them about it. That doesn't make it right. He authorized him to spend $165,000 of taxpayers' money. Who? So if the minister didn't give you the leeway and the green card, are you telling me that a chairman could do that? And what are the accountability or the consequences that Kernda should face? And that's what the public had to mount pressure and ask. Because imagine that he didn't tell you about it since the 9th, but the 31st you came out, and before the 31st, you give him a chairman position in NEL. So you see what has happened in this country? We're wrong side. When you do wrong, you just get promoted. You don't face the music, you get promoted. But what happens, and these politicians, there is only no when it's wrong, when they're on the next side. I said it in the public domain, I'm saying it tonight, and I will continue saying it. Barry Padarat was the most man. I used to sit down and I used to say, yes, the opposition, giving them, they keeping Marvin Gonzalez on his feet. Because we will say he was a waste of time, abject waste of time, failure, right? But now that he's the Minister of Public Utilities, I see him more than everything, because every day they're on Facebook happening now in Wassa. But what you're saying about TSTT, same thing, Marvin Gonzalez used to be the same thing. We used to call him the Minister of Wassa. Barry Padarat, same thing. You're only talking about Wassa, but in TSTT, wrongdoing underneath your nose. And what are you saying? So we are not happy that you come out now to say that. And we are asking a very, very important question. This so-called invoice of the $165,000, is he comfortable with the document, the source of the document, the validity of the document? Is the minister saying that he's comfortable with this? And what is he going to do with the chairman? Is the chairman just going to get a slap on his wrist and 9 days, normal Trinidad culture, 9 days we talk, as the young people say, bust up your mouth about something, and what happens? Nothing. So that is something that the public should be asking questions for, because it's taxpayers' money. And Kerndas cannot do things in isolation like that. And there's a 5-member board in TSTT. So all of them are culpable. He just went to the head of the class because he's the chairman. So his fiduciary duty, it was breached.
Wow.
For that.
Interesting. The other thing I wanted to find out about Flavor, did you ever manage to get any invoices on Flavor?
No. But I was told that Marshall Montano was not he didn't bill for Flavor. That's what I was told. So maybe Marshall gave them a complimentary performance. But no, I do not have in my possession anything concerning Flavor.
Okay. So I think that's something that, because I'm hearing people saying that they're going to file for freedom of information on that, because it's conflicting. On one hand, you're hearing people saying that they didn't pay Marshall, but then Marshall saying that he ain't get paid yet.
Well, that is I didn't hear him say that, but I mean, and again, you see, when you see persons are saying certain things, and then you have persons, for instance, let me just use TSTT. So TSTT, and I'm going back to this retreat. So if we look at the retreat, we look at Flavor. We have to keep into account, this is not your money in your bank account, This public funds. And if we continue spending like that, and then you're saying one thing, and then the narrative is, I didn't do this, but then an artist might come out and say, I didn't get paid. Then what are you saying? That is where the breakdown in trust is. And then come down to the workers now. When you are actually saying, and you're saying one thing, you're doing another thing, but then in the face of the worker, you're coming to tell me 000, no consolidation of cola, or take a little one off, because you know what? Thing bad. But we seeing you spending all over the place. So anybody filing under the Freedom of Information Act to find out, because we are all taxpayers and we cannot allow anyone. Nobody's above the rule of law. I always say that. Not even me, not no one. So if at the end of the day, Flavor, money was spent on Flavor, and Marshall is still owing, I'm just saying, allegedly, then Somebody had to file and you know. But then again, when we get the information, nothing is being done. Nothing is being done. And that is the problem in this country. Nothing is being done. They say, we'll do this. Now the wheels are turned. We kick out the PNM, you know. Because the country voted. They kick out the PNM. They didn't kick out the PNM because they're just wicked, you know. They fed up of the oppression under the PNM. They fed up. All right. They brought in the UNC. I just say it plain, you know. I never vote for the PNM. I voted for Makela Pandey. Right? I wanted change. I fed up a red. I fed up a yellow. I wanted a change. Right? It didn't happen the way most of us who voted for her and Patriotic Front would have wanted. But we have the UNC and we have to respect that they are the ruling party. But I'm saying when they were in opposition, you want to paint the sky blue because when you give me a chance, when I get in there, I will correct it. Now that you are here, what are we seeing? Unrest, unease, job losses, silence. It's almost like if they turn off what the channel to the air. They lost touch with the ground. So is it that you're in power now and you're there for 5 years and what the hell? Coming close to election, then I will start to talk. Is a disconnect. Nothing, no one is being held accountable in this country. We're seeing it. And my thing is, we will talk from now till all the cows come home, as my grandmother used to say. But nobody don't make jail in this country. It's wrong and wrong and wrong, and nothing happens. People doing wrong and they're getting promoted. Look, I just spoke about Kerndas. 9th of March, 9th of March. We saw Kerndas in a video on a period ago. I don't know what is that. And young ladies they're enjoying themselves, right? And if you go back, and I don't know if they pull it down by now, but the Tiki Boat Facebook page, those same young ladies, right? In the tongues and whatever, on no man's land with TSTT executives. And you telling me that they didn't have anything to do with that? Public shaming, but they said now is 165,000. And we still have to ask the question, so much for a retreat? I see people commenting and saying that is small money for a retreat. That is small money for a retreat. But I would leave it there.
Wow. Well, I think I will encourage you, especially as the to file for the Freedom of Information also. I think that'd be good information for you.
A lot of things we're going to file for.
Yeah, because I think that'd be good information for you because remember, it's 000, So when you go before the bargaining table, you could say, but all it telling us 000. But look, Iowa gets so much, this one gets so much, Patrice gets so much, Marshall gets so much, and you're telling me 000? That is unfair.
It is.
Because if you come to the public with that kind of information, it is something for the public to raise their voice in condemnation and lobby on your behalf. I personally think that it is totally out of place. Because you can't tell me, you can't give me my money that I work for. But you know what? You're willing to give the artisan day more than because why? Because they support you. That's the reality of it. The reality of it is that there are the same artists who you are talking about supported them in the election. So it was a payback, and so
at workers' expense too,
Okay,
at workers' expense.
So then I think
the engine room, the engine room.
So it's just like Massa. The slaves that work out in the field have nothing to get, but the slaves who would have bought a Massa in the house is who eating the good food.
Yeah,
could never be right. But as somebody said last night, how could you fight when your belly full? How could you fight when your belly full? Again, the question is asked, I found a video here. I don't know if this is the video I was telling you about, But I'm looking for other videos. I know that I have other videos with that interview with Mr. Marshall Montano. When he made a statement, he had a press conference. I can't be so wrong, boy. I cannot be so wrong in the information that I share in here, where Marshall would have had a press.
Was also concerning, and Marshall is no ordinary artist. Marshall is the greatest of all time. We know that. And what if that is true, right? If that is true, then one can only imagine what will be the cost attached to that, if it is true. So then now, what you are also telling workers now would be, you didn't have the money, or you didn't set aside a certain budget. I mean, praying Marshall is not going to appease the union to say what you're going to pay him is what will cost a negotiation. I'm not saying that. But every extra money that you spend, you have to account for it in the face of austerity measures. And I spoke about that on the last program. I spoke about who feels the burden of adjustment, and it's only workers. So it would be very interesting to know if that is true, then how much money they allocated or budgeted or spent and paid Marshall Montano.
I will find it. Trust me, I will find it. I have my archives right here. I will find it.
But let me touch on something while you're looking for that. In the interest of time as well. On the video that you played there earlier on CNC3, and I think I started talking about this and the silence of labor. And I don't know if you could recall, there's a popular poem. First they came for this one.
Yes.
And there was no right. So if I have to draw reference to that poem, right now, if we were to apply that poem in today's society and what is going on, then we have to say, first they came, well, no, they are coming for the trade unions and by extension the members, and our own are not speaking out. So then what will happen when we are eradicated? Then there will be nobody. And that is where the message is, and people need to look away from the bacchanalia. It's not a pull away. It's not a embarrassment. Labor's position and what they might look at movement as a collective body. We need to remember what solidarity means. We need to come back now. So whether or not I would have seen Comrade Anisette openly before elections sitting with the Prime Minister, well, she's the Prime Minister now, and talking about lending his support, but he's still coming out and calling a spade a spade. So that is important, and that is what we want to see. We must have a united front. Whether you're part of the coalition, whether you're not part of the coalition, we have to remember the interests of the working class and the interests of the oppressed is what is important. Not your allegiance to a party, It's to your members. Because we can't talk about being the voice for the voiceless and defending the oppressed and the downtrodden in society. And when that happening to the people that we're talking about in society, we can't hear each other. That was my point. So that is something that, people have to pay attention to and don't look for the bacchanalia in the thing. What the Communication Workers Union is saying, we have to return to the table when we sing, when those who labor hold the reins of power and solidarity forever. That mustn't, no political party should separate us. Whether we are PNM, whether it's UNC, whether you're Patriotic Front, whether it's whoever, TPP, whoever, our interest and loyalty must be to your members, not our political party. Because I could be the leader of the Communication Workers Union, and I say it openly, I support Michaela Pandey. It thought people wouldn't like that. They will say as a PNM because I'm mashing up the UNC. But if the UNC at the end of the day were in the opposition and the PNM was the reigning party, they will get licked the same way. So I need people to understand, not because you have a certain political affiliation or you're aligned to a particular party for whatever reason. When it is wrong, it is wrong. I'll rest there. I'll pass back to you.
I think I find the video now. I hope there's the video. I hope there's the video. Because, nah, man, you can't tell me. Listen to this video. You tell me where you got that from this video. You're a lawyer, so you can tell me if I'm off. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the little narrative I want to clear up to because people really tend to put artists against artists, and I'm not holding anything in my mouth right now because I speak with respect. I don't mean any disrespect to Bungie Garland. I don't mean any disrespect to Voice. These people, I have played a role in their careers. But, you know, I don't know how to tell this story because I don't even know if they want me to tell the full picture, but I'll just say this. I was requested by the government of Trinidad and Tobago to perform at Flavor Village for free. Can we sacrifice this? And we called them to their great disappointment and said, we're going to choose to stay home. So I had Friday night free. So I told them the only night I have free is Friday night. Where's this narrative that I choose Friday night to go up against Bungie Garland to destroy his thing? And I didn't even know they were in the Queen's Park. I didn't even know it was Carnival Friday night. All this while I'm so busy, I'm not watching and plotting what other people are doing. So there is this narrative out there that I am doing this and doing that and doing the other. And, it used to hurt, but it stopped hurting. I understand it clearly, but I want to take, because I don't usually take the opportunity to clear it up. And then, bam, when I think I'm doing something good, here they come after. They wondering if the government pay me. So they didn't wonder if the government, Super Blue had a night, Patrice Roberts had a night, Bungie and Fiona had a night, Iowa had multiple nights, Swappy, Orlando, Voice had a night. No questions about if they were being paid. As soon as I have a night, there's a question about me being paid. So I'm not to be paid. I am proud of what I do. I am proud of my work ethic. I'm proud of my team. I don't want them to come Ash Wednesday and be, boy, you're a man overwork and we come out with nothing, boy. I don't want to. No, I want them to feel like, yes, I want to prove that hard work pays.
Government had to budget for Marshall Montano's Carnival Friday performance. Government had to budget for Marshall Montano's Carnival Friday performance. Government had to budget for Marshall Montano's Carnival Friday performance. Government had to budget for Marshall Montano's Carnival Friday performance at Flavor Village.
At his media conference this afternoon, Montano questioned why his fee was a concern by many despite the many performances at the village.
He confirmed that he had significantly reduced his performance fee for the event.
We have not yet been paid. We have also agreed.
Government had to budget for Marshall Montano's Carnival Friday performance at Flavor Village.
At his media conference this afternoon, Montano questioned why his fee was a concern by many despite the many performances at the village.
He confirmed that he had significantly reduced his performance fee for the event.
We have not yet been paid.
Hello?
Yes. So to me, what it sounds like, right, is there was some misunderstanding. This is what I've gleaned from it, is that there may have been some misunderstanding with some warring amongst artists on the night. But what I'm picking up from what he's saying, is the government, he reduced his fee.
Right.
And the government will, or the government has to pay.
So that means he ain't do it for free?
Well, based on what you just played there, I didn't pick up it was done for free.
Thank you.
But once it's the government and not TSTT that pay.
But who owns TSTT?
Because
he's saying it in a TSTT jersey, and he's saying it behind B Mobile. Behind him is a B Mobile logo?
Well, I didn't see it.
I will send it for
I really
you.
didn't see it.
I will send it for you.
But you know, to put that to rest, and you're correct. If that is the case, and let me go back. Once it's taxpayers' money, anybody have a right through the Freedom of Information Act to ask a question. So if he's saying that he wasn't paid, then the only way to find out what he charged, if it was paid or if it wasn't paid, etc., is but that will be. I don't really want to talk too much about that, because you see, again, without being laborious in my contribution, we cannot speak about not having money and prioritizing certain things. Now, I understand marketing. Marketing is a serious thing. And TSTT, as you would have seen, we have Young Brother, we have Nyla Blackman, Iowa George. For some time I saw Rome performing in what they had a pop-up market, Drupati, Marcia, Miranda. These people don't do things for free. I'm sure that there's a little cost. Whether it's as Minister Padra say, whether it's $1, right? But there's a cost. But then you are telling workers you don't have money. And it's something that I need to say, which is a bit confusing. I saw on the Parliament page, I saw where TSTT spoke about, where they reported something about a loss. But then I'm hearing in other circles that TSTT made a profit. And I'm studying which one to believe. I would want to believe the parliament information, because there is parliament, right? But it's so much of information that is being skewed out there that would cause anybody to raise their eyebrows. But again, it goes back to the root of what I keep saying, no accountability, no transparency, and we shift in the goalposts. So according to who it benefit, we shift the goalposts. 9 days, nothing. But it would be very interesting to find out about that.
Let me play the whole clip then. I just played part of the news item. Let me play the whole news item for you to hear it. All right?
Okay.
Government had to budget for Marshall Montano's Carnival Friday performance at Flavor Village.
At his media conference this afternoon, Montano questioned why his fee was a concern by many despite the many performances at the village.
He confirmed that he had significantly reduced his performance fee for the event.
We have not yet been paid. We have also agreed to wait until whenever. Right? We have also paid our people who performed out of our pocket for that. And we understand the financial burden of the country right now. So we actually even went lower than a third of what we charge.
And tonight, Marshall Montano is setting the record straight, responding to concerns about truck jumping and rule breaking. The Road March champ says...
All right, we ain't going all day, but I just wanted my friend Joanne to hear that he said that it is at a reduced cost.
Yeah.
So he is candid to be paid, and he understands he understands the financial burden that the country is under right now. Okay, so. You have your evidence that he was paid.
I put in that in the lap of the government. Whoever contracted him to perform at Flavor, whether it's the Minister of Culture, whether it's the Minister of Tourism, whether it's the Prime Minister herself, whoever it is, I lay in that at their feet. Now I understand what you're saying, that he said that in a B-Mobile/TSTT press briefing. And, persons would know, just as you are inferring, the government, TSTT, is 51% owned, and TSTT money might be jumping up. I wouldn't want to speak out of turn with that, because, as I said, I don't have all the information. So where he is talking about the government, I want to rest it at the government's feet. And when the information is forthcoming from the Freedom of Information Act. And who knows, if I get a copy of it, then I would be able to further pronounce on that. But I would leave that at the government feet because I am sure they contracted him. And if TSTT have any part to do with it, then again, is a certain question I'll have to ask again. You can't have money to pay everybody else and not workers.
Thank you. And because some people are saying and I'm glad you said that, because somebody is saying on the live, as a black man, you're trying to fight down Marshall. So what if he get? You know what they're saying? So what if he get paid? That is why black people is the worst. Shame on you. So the person don't understand that we're having a discussion about workers are getting 0, 0, 0, no COLA, and on top of that, they giving them an extra share payment of $15,000 while you're paying entertainers for the whole carnival in Flavor Village, and workers are not being treated properly. That's what we're talking about. You want to treat artists properly, but the people who are making the money for you to pay the artists, they're not getting it.
Correct. And imagine you saying that. Imagine somebody said on CNC3 today, in their comments, they said the next time because we beaten the Boboli, foolishly, packed with racist comments as well, because the person, I don't want to go there, but anyhow, they said, you know what they said? We should get doubles and hot water when we go to negotiations. That's the level of ignorance. And
Miss Joanne, don't butter it up, you know. Don't butter it up. I don't like when you want to play your comment. Let me tell you why I don't want you to butter it up. When the last time you spoke on some program you spoke on, a pundit come in the comment section and the worst things he had to say about you.
He called me a PNM bitch. A pundit, A PNM bitch.
So when people to come now to talk about as a black man and as a black man and as a black man, yes, a black. Because if I take off these lights, Ole wouldn't see me. Because I'm black. Yes. But that has nothing to do with the principal thing that we're talking about.
Exactly.
If you are willing to pay artists, and Miss Joanne said it as a TSTT worker, as somebody who fighting for TSTT, I encourage the culture to be pushed. She encourages that the culture be enhanced. And if you have to, as you just said, market TSTT, use the culture to market the platform, the business, all well and good. But remember the people who work in.
Correct. Because if we don't work as hard as we do, contrary to the false narrative out there that TSTT workers working for such a big money and we lazy and we always fighting for money.
Which is the same thing they say about nurses. Which is the same thing they said about nurses.
We exchange labor for wages.
Thank you.
And when we exchange our labor for wages, the company, the echelons of the company, they are policy makers while we are the engine room of the organization. So you cannot tell me when we are making, and you put it into perspective, when we are making money for the company, then we are seeing you telling us, Roxo, I have no money for you. But then I'm seeing Flavor, I'm seeing lights, a tree of lights in the children's hospital. I'm seeing everything the government have be mobile rag in the government hand. They talk about the flip program. Young brother, this one, that one, Nyla. Oh, come on. And I doubt they are doing these things for free because we have copies of their contracts and they have certain amount of appearances in their contracts. But they have performances, and the government can't tell workers, the company cannot tell workers that they did it for free.
Thank you.
You understand? So somebody paying, and we have said it in the public domain. We believe all those things for flip program, and TSTT paid for it. The laptop initiative. That is something that we still want to know about. It's good, we supporting education, Nothing is wrong with providing laptops for children, but we just asking the question. I heard it raised in the parliament. I think it was Gatsby Dolly or one of them spoke about it. The tendering process, was everything up above board? The procurement practice, we need to know. Taxpayers need to know, not just the union. Taxpayers need to know. But when you ask something, is a P&M. Once you ask for accountability, is a P&M. But they forget the last how much years we used to be the PNM. Comradella used to waste down the PNM. We used to talk about it, but conveniently, where was the CW in the last 9 years? But I'll leave that for another day. Back to you.
All right, so we're going to take some calls because I don't want to keep Miss Joanne here too late. She had a real busy day today. She had a hot day today, and sun was hot outside there today. So we're going to take some of your calls. We're going to take some of your calls on 464. Is 466? No. Yeah, 464-7003. 464-7003. You can call in now and talk to Miss John. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon, Pastor Gugu.
Hi, good evening.
I want to ask Miss Joan. Now, as a man didn't went to school and thing, I break this right? How a country could be running a deficit budget? You hear what I'm telling you? A deficit, if I don't know what deficit budget means, a deficit budget means you're spending more than you earn or you're living beyond your means. How a person aspiring to be a prime minister could tell people who went to school, we're going and cut taxes all around, corporate taxes and line taxes, this taxes, that taxes, all the taxes all around. The taxes, let's pay the subsidized water, subsidized light, subsidized, even pay the salaries of workers, right? And they're going and increase spending, right? You know what I'm telling you? You listen what I'm going with it?
Go ahead, caller.
They're going to increase. That is the question. How somebody could tell you that and you could buy into that as a union?
But she said that she didn't buy into that, you know. She voted for Michaela Pandey.
I want to tell us something. The PNM and the UNC is not the same thing. And I want to tell you why. Name one thing that you benefit from, or the whole of Trinidad, the UNC bill here, that contribute 25 cents to your national budget. And that is the question I want to ask. Name one thing the UNC or Pandey ever bill here that contribute 25 cents to your national budget. Everything here is the bill by the PNM. Every doctor is created by the PNM. Every lawyer, every internet, every CSCT worker.
All right,
there's what people to talk because.
No, well, call it. Have other callers want to get through. You ask a question and you was going on and on. Do you remember the person here whole night that I keep her till midnight? You made your point. You said what you have to say, and we're moving on. You know what I mean? Miss Joanne is talking.
I take your contribution, sir, but I am on. I don't know how to answer you because you're speaking about what the unions are accepting, and if you would have paid close attention to my entire contribution, I did not defend anything. As a matter of fact, I have rebuked both parties, the PNM and the UNC. And when I said what is my political, where my political support is. Persons don't have to accept that. That is my personal choice. You mightn't like it, but all I'm saying is I continue to maintain that I would call any government to account. That's all I'm saying. But I understand your contribution, but you may not have understood mine as much. So I hope I cleared up what you were trying to ask.
All right. Hello, good evening, caller.
Hello, good evening, Pastor Google, and good evening to the Secretary General, Comrade Sistoger. Good evening.
Pleasant good night, Comrade.
I'm not going to be long because Pastor Google would have reinforced and placed emphasis that you had a long day. But I just want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and commend the Secretary General of the Communication Workers Union and the executive for maintaining that independent stance and avoiding the political polarization of the Communication Workers Union. And by doing that, you have been able to identify that the CWU is people and labor-centric and not government-aligned in any way whatsoever. That it stands on a position for people. And while standing on the position for people, you would be able to advocate on a point of transparency. What are the needs and issues and concerns that are being experienced and the challenges, not only for TSTT workers, not only for Hilton and CW represented workers, but people in this country on the whole. And you would have, Pastor Google would have mentioned about the circumstance even being faced by nurses, that people, especially with political agendas, tend to diminutize or make small the work and contribution of people who carry out certain jobs and look at them as money grabbers. But they have to understand the unique skill set, just like a nurse. That the reason why Pastor Guru could have a stream on tonight is because a TSTT employee is doing the job. The reason why somebody could book a ticket tonight online, or book a hotel booking tonight, or buy something online from Fashion Nova or whatever, it is because a TSTT worker is doing a job. A matter of fact, if they can call on a mobile phone or they can do remote viewing on the cameras, because a TSTT worker is doing their job. And we must appreciate the fact that that is a unique skill set that you cannot find on the side of the road. And it's Marshal Montano. He said that he would have given his gifting at less than a third, but he ensured that that less than a third is a 2026 rate. All the Communication Workers Union is asking that the unique skill set that is provided for the betterment of the people of this nation, that there are current salaries paid for that unique professional skill set, and that a decent work environment and industrial peace is afforded by employers. It is not about the yellow is the code or if you're already dead or anything like that. It is about being worker and people-centric. As you would have said before, the TSTT worker is somebody's husband, somebody's wife, somebody's son, somebody's daughter that provides living and well-being. So I say tonight, Comrade Ogier, you and the executive, continue being transparent, continue standing for people and not a party. Continue standing for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, caller. Well said, caller. Thank you very much.
All right. We're taking your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. You can call now and share your views. Taking your calls to hear how you all feel, what you all thought. All right. And again, you know, I personally just think that there are times when, you know, we have been asking for the unions to see something. People have been calling out the unions to see something. Forestry workers going home, they said the unions didn't say nothing. CPEP workers going home, they said the unions didn't say anything. URP workers going home, the unions, they said the unions didn't say anything. HEC contractual workers went home, they were calling on Miss Felicia to say something. She still haven't said anything. Right? We could call out, I hope we heard, what they call them? We heard the teachers, the tutor was talking about some people who got sent home. So people are being sent home, you know. And now we have unions that are speaking up. Let us hear what's your view. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Pastor Google.
Yes, sir.
To the first caller, I understand how passionate he is, but I know he has chosen a little bit because Pastor Google, as an added man, remember the behavior of all them unions. When Miss Bissessa go up on she Monday night forum, and I don't know what she drinking, whatever water she drinking, and she start with the former government, all them trade unions was against this man, one man head. So when the host have I'm not accusing her under that. But all the trade unions was on one head. Miss B sister went and rile up this country to win the election and rile up you're talking about everybody. And look how fast, within months, she deceived them. Within the space of 3 months time you're talking about all of them get deceived. Don't get away Answer Roger too much. Answer Roger, right now he tongue so up. He between a rock and a hard one, he can't say nothing. Understand what my sister do? 2010, 2015 was the same thing. So that's why I had the same Pastor Google. Plenty of them, I'm not feeling sorry for them. All of them also who lost work with secret, because all of them, plenty of them, was on the same head. Rowley had to go, Rowley this, Rowley that. What they get, they take it. They have 4 more years to take it. The deceptiveness, the lies, they have 4 more. You see what she's doing? She only hiding. 2010 to 2015, she used to be always abroad, putting Jack on her, putting who to act as Prime Minister. No. This now she started to hide. You ain't saying she can't keep a press conference. Let it take that and more. You know why? Eat little and live long. Eat little and live long. Me feel sorry for them listening neither. No. They had to go through that. That come like a phase. They had to go through that. So if they want to learn now, and 2030 come, and you hear she come and she like to bamboozle with some kind of little trick thing, and they want to put you back there, what they get, that will be good for them. Later, Pastor, go good. Make you say for them. Just laugh. You lose the code, you lose the curse.
I hear you, sir. I hear you. But my thing is, and you know what is amazing to me also, and I think a lot of people are looking at, is even in that clip I just played with Mr. Marshall Montano, who said he's going to get paid. He is not charging them the amount he would charge whatever big fat promoter, but he charged them. He has reached the point, and this is what is amazing, you know. He said in his interview, here we say, I understand that the country is going through some financial difficulties, so I'm willing to wait. He is willing to wait. A lot of people might be saying to themselves, you know what, now I out of a job, you know, but I believe things will get better. When? They don't know, but they just believe that things going to get better. You understand? My concern really is, as the caller rightfully said, this for me, when I watch it, they don't treat all the leaders in this country the same. If this was done by Dr. Rowley, or if it was done by Mr. Manning, or if it was done by George Chambers, under those prime ministers, nurses and people take to the streets, you know, and protest against oppression. They believe that they were being oppressed by Dr. Rowley. That is why they voted them out in such a serious manner, because they believe that here was going on. We can't live here, brethren. We can't live. It hard. But you know what? I don't know about nobody else. When I go in the grocery now, I don't know. It's like every time you go in the grocery, it's like $40 more. Grocery prices out the window in this country. But nobody is saying they're hungry, and nobody is saying they're starving. Nobody not saying that. You're not seeing no massive, like how long time you was bombarded on TikTok with people crying, a man crying and saying, I'm hungry. Nobody ain't hungry again. It's just amazing. You know? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good night, Pastor Booker.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Good night, and all the best to your listeners and your callers. All the callers sit and listen and now come in.
Oh, you now come in. So that means you don't know who I'm talking to.
No, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the union. Mr. J. Secretary General of the Communication Workers Union.
Yes, sir. Ask our question quickly. We are real callers.
Yeah, what I want to say, I just making a statement. We have to remember from 2010 to 15 what happened. It is alleged that people paid money. If you know, it's alleged.
Well, let me don't deal with alleged now, because you know what? We're not SOE. We're not SOE. Wait, just now that.
Okay, yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, people just get fooled again, and we have to be, you understand? We have to be, what? We have to come up with a good plan and strategy just to prepare for the next election, because we can't do nothing right now.
All right.
Local is next year.
Mm-hmm.
People have to come out, all those who have to come out for next year election and vote overwhelmingly for the PNM.
Well.
So what happens is, this government have a majority.
All right.
So they could postpone the election.
No. You see, you're going down a road again. Well, you're trying to get me in problems.
We're campaigning. Yeah.
Come on, man. You get me in problems. You saying that the government could postpone the... No, that the views of the caller is not the views of Constructive Talk, Pastor Google, or Miss Joanne. No, we're not condoning. Those are things that... That's what the SOE is for. The SOE is to stop conversations like that. Well, you don't understand that. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Good night, Pastor Google.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good night to you and your guest. I am disappointed in the unions and them. You know why? Because when the first CPF worker get fired, they didn't say anything. When the second forestry worker get fired, they didn't say anything. When the rest of workers went home, they didn't say anything. All their job is for people, whether they're in your union, they're in somebody else's union, or who union. You're supposed to come out and make your voice be heard. You're fighting for workers' rights. Who fights for CPF? Nobody. Who fights for forestry? Nobody. But you want to fight for TSTT. What about the thousands who home? Remember them. They're hungry too. All I want to only remember your people you're fighting for. You're not fighting for CPF. You ain't fighting for forestry. You're fighting for TSTT. I don't want the public to be happy.
That's it. Well, remember, she is the...
All.
No, but she can't fight for all. Just now call her.
Yes, Pastor Google.
Oh, listen to me.
Fight for all.
All right. No. Listen to this.
Pastor Google, may I respond to the caller?
All right, go ahead.
So, sister, I hear what you're saying and I'm feeling your passion. But you see, what you don't know is we spoke about it. We may not have spoken about it in the public domain, but we spoke about it. And that is not correct to say. Now, I could understand you saying that CW may not have spoken openly about CPEP, reforestation, etc., etc. But I did say, and we saw Comrade Anisette speaking about it. So it's not that people didn't talk about it. And as a matter of fact, we were contacted by a battery of attorneys to represent CPEP workers, But the CPEP workers were saying they don't have money to pay dues. So you don't know that. But at the end of the day, the CW was ready, and I expressed that concern, stating in a JTAM meeting, I raised it, indicating to JTAM for transparency that the Communication Workers Union were approached by an attorney to represent CPEP workers. So, my dear, you may not be totally informed, but I wish to just bring it to your attention that what you are saying there is not totally correct. But I have recognition status for TSTT. So I have to come out there and speak about TSTT.
Even if it's not totally correct, now that CPEP is home, or they could go wrong and come to some conclusion and come and all who home, call a meeting for all workers who home. You could be the one, the head, and you represent them for all who went home, because they're not home. They have no hope. They're home suffering. They need some kind of hope. Right? Because I know what it's like to lose a job and be hungry.
Okay, thank you very much, caller.
No problem.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Pastor Google again. Sorry for this. But it has some kind of things as Jamaica kind of winner. Because hear what? I wonder if the lady understands why Dr. Keith Rowley wanted the Revenue Authority. If she go to the IMF report and see we have $16 billion in tax evasion every year, You know who paying the taxes here? The corporate businessman who business register and the workers, the working class in Trinidad and Tobago. That imagine this. A man working for 10,000 a month. He paying rent. He have 2 children. They're living paycheck to paycheck and they're taking his thing. But taking his money. But a man who making $50 and $60 billion someday, he could evade tax because they scrap the revenue authority was going and set up. And you know who fight? You know who fight the government? The union itself.
Wait, stop,
right?
stop. Just now, caller. Just now. Who fought the government against the TTRA? PSA. Not, wait, stop. Not this union. Well, not this union. Wait, just now.
Nobody think a union. But,
all right. Look, but caller, you're saying things. You're saying something. Hear what you're saying.
Blanket statement here.
Hear what you're saying. You're saying that the unions stop the TTRA. I am saying to you.
Political union. You see you. You is a fella don't like the truth. Right?
What?
You have to like the truth. And as a man supporting you, nights upon nights, whole night I can listen to you. When you was on a US station and today, this is how you're treating your people. All right, brother, love you still. But one of these days I will meet you and I will tell you the truth. And when I tell you the truth, you will bawl and cry that the things are going on in Trinidad here. Unions support these things. What's my? If Dr. Rowley was getting from 2010 to now is about $225 billion we had in tax evasion in this country.
And caller, all I'm simply saying to you,
I never talk about the lady. I said one.
No, but you made up, and as she just said, you made a blanket statement.
No.
You made up. Caller, you made a blanket statement. You made a blanket statement by saying that you said. So if you want to correct yourself. But you said to this statement. But then hear what caller just on that. Well, listen now. Listen, you're not listening. You made a blanket statement by saying who stopped the TTRA? The unions. And all I did, I stopped you and I said, sir. So you're not listening, no. You're not listening to me. You're not listening.
All right, I'm a listener.
You made a blanket statement by saying the unions is who stopped the TTRA. I stopped you and I said, sir, it was not the unions. It was one union, which is the PSA, which would have taken the government to the Privy Council, and the Privy Council said to them, hey, let the government go ahead with the TTRA. This government came into office and said, no, we are scrapping the TTRA and we are going to employ people in the inland revenue to bring up the employment so that the TTRA, so that they could get the revenues, they could get the money which is owed to the government. That is what happened. So when you said the unions, Miss Joanne would have said to you, sir, you're making a blanket statement.
Oh, I didn't talk about no politics. I said the union, because it's about a lot of union. Because all right, if the union come under one body that's supporting this government, look, they're calling teachers lazy. I mean, nurses lazy and all PNM nurses.
All right, and again, caller, all the unions did not come under support of this government. That is not true. All the unions did not support the government. That is not true. Again.
Well, if 2% of the unions support the government, right, and 98% support the government, the majority don't have it.
No, but you're making a blanket statement. The point is that yes, you are making a blanket statement when you say that all the unions supported this government. That is not true. And even if the majority of unions supported the government, it's still, right now we are seeing where there are unions who are apolitical. They don't believe in supporting any of the government, any government.
Well, every union is supposed to be so.
No, every union is not so.
No, they're not so, but they're supposed to be so.
No, they're not supposed. You could say, scholar, you could say that. You could say that, but that is you don't know every union have their different policies and the different stands.
Remember, we had a lady very voiceless before the election, and she got a job on a board on the medical board, and she's very silent right now.
Yeah, but she doesn't speak for all unions. Thank you very much, caller.
All right.
Hello, good evening.
Pastor Google, let me just say something quickly.
Yes,
hold on, very passionately. That the caller that spoke just now very passionately about CPEP is just I know following. We are actively, the Communication Workers Union, actively involved in a matter defending CPEP workers in Tobago. I just needed to say that. I don't remember that.
What is happening?
I missed that.
Wait. You're not going to get away with that one. What going on with CPEP workers in Tobago?
Contracts, they sending them home. They end some of them contract. We have a trade dispute right now going on with CPEP in Tobago. Right? So I just remember that. I'm tired. So I'll start to wind down after 10.
All right.
So I forgot that. But it just came up. So I just wanted to just tell the caller, CPEP workers in Tobago, we have a matter right now. Right now, it's at conciliation at the Industrial Court against the Tobago House of Assembly. I want to leave it there. I'll pass back to you. As a retrenchment, of workers. Some 30-something workers, I believe it is.
You can't go and jump a ball like that, Miss Joanne.
No, because you see, the caller was very passionate, and as I told you, it's 25 past 10, and I had a hard day, so some things will just slip through the crack. But my one of my executive officers just brought it to my attention, and she said, "Hey, don't forget so by so," and that's why I have to say it. So where I understand the caller's passion, and she's correct. All unions supposed to come out and talk. I understand the passion, but we have not been silent. We have an active trade dispute right now for CPEP in Tobago.
All right, hello, good evening, caller.
Yeah, Pastor Google, good evening, and good evening to your guest, Miss Joan.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want to understand where the young lady called first and the gentleman called after, what they are saying. Now, don't get me wrong, Pastor Google. I understand what you are saying. What you are saying is perfectly correct. Ms. Joanne, what you are saying also is perfectly correct, right? But from a ground standpoint, when this debacle happened to CPEP workers, I was one of the contractors. It had a definite silence. Now, we are not saying that you all were in support of what transpired, but it had a definite silence, and the people on the ground may have understood that they've been thinking that the unions, they will lump all together in one. They may be wrong for doing so, but they will have lumped all that, because we know naturally unions is who fight for the people, right? So
yes.
When we see the unions supporting the UNC, and it had a definite silence, CPEP workers and contractors felt lost because it had nobody for them. Even though if there wasn't on the union paying dues in the union, but the union is for workers. And when I say the union, I talk about the way the ground was seen. They was seen just the union. There wasn't distinguishing who is what. They wasn't doing that. The ground wasn't doing that. You understand where I'm coming from?
Totally. Totally.
Right. Because the average person out there who is not as educated, because there are a lot of people who really don't get into they don't know how unions does run, they don't know how much unions have representing different workers. They don't know, they just don't know. So when they hear union, they just focus on if they've seen a union supporting the government, they think they lump everyone into one and they say the union in supporting the people on the ground. And that's how it maybe the first two callers, the young lady and the gentleman, I think that's what they wanted to say. Now they may have been wrong, right? They may have been wrong because they don't know the dynamics of it, right? But that is basically, I just try to polish it up. What they really want to say. But
I accept
you
that.
all right.
And I accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally understand what you're saying, caller. And I accept that.
Right.
Thank you very much, Tolman. Right. Miss Joanne, you hit my, you know, up to now I can't recover from that ball there.
I'll send you all the details of the matter.
Let me tell you why I can't recover from that ball there, that ball there. I don't hear nothing more that in the news.
And let me tell you, this was done under the PNM. That was done under the PNM.
The CPEP workers getting sent home in Tobago?
Yes.
That was,
and as a matter,
how much years ago that matter is?
As a matter of fact, that was under the minister in the Ministry of Public Utilities when he was in office, Comrade Elder. So it's not now. So again, this was under the PNM, and we defended. We are still in the matter right now against CTHA. So that is not no. So I'm saying all of that to say, is not now the CW representing workers and calling out the government. This was done under the PNM. Comrade Elder was actively involved, and he represented the workers. And then, of course, he ended his tenure in the union, and he's now a minister. But that was going on all the time.
But then then I want to use the word hypocrite, because when the CPEP workers were sent home in Trinidad, he said it was collateral damage. So you will fight PNM, for CPEP workers, but when the UNC send home CPEP workers, they are collateral damage. That's hypocrisy.
Well, let me say it this way. That collateral damage statement, that has been bandied about in all sectors, all form and fashion, right? And I don't want to speak about that because different people have different ways of interpreting how he made the statement, if he attacked the workers. My thing is, no worker is collateral damage, whether how he say it or he didn't say it. My thing is, what we know, we representing them, and we will continue to represent any worker that falls under the red banner or the yellow banner. So when he was there, he handled the matter, and that is why every time now that you would hear us say, where is his voice? Why is he? Because if you could recall, he did come out and he said that other trade unions shouldn't piggyback on the PSA win. Remember, he said that.
Yeah.
And then CW said, well, how you could say something like that? Because when they asked him if they believe TSTT workers deserve the 10% or something like that, I don't think he made a direct statement, but I could recall saying that what we expected him to say, seeing that he came from the bowels of the movement and he was the leader of the union that represent TSTT workers, he could have said then and there, well, whilst I may not say they deserve 10%, I want to say they deserve something equitable, even if it's 10 or more. But saying that is just similar to what the caller just said. It was almost like a blanket statement. So don't piggyback. And worse again, we felt that if you're not part of the coalition, then you have to suck salt. That is how unions feel into it. Once you are not part of the coalition of interests, then you have to fight. You have to fight. Because look at Tutor. Tutor is independent. Pressure. Contractors, they were promised something. They march in. Pressure. Estate Police Association, they are political or independent. Pressure. CW, well, I want to say pressure, but at the end of the day, we are with TSTT, a state-owned company, and we still getting pushback. So Who really winning?
Let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Pastor Google.
Yes, sir.
Well, boy, I always saying this yes man in Tobago. What do her to answer to the UNC? I remember when he went up and had a rampage during the time in Trinidad when the CPEP was not rehired, and that wouldn't go on in Tobago because
from what I understanding is that what I understand, Miss Joanne is saying is that this is our old matter from quite back in the this could be about 10 years old. 2022.
I want
31 workers.
Yeah,
31 workers.
So there's a different matter. But I just to me, caller.
Okay, real money.
Yeah, but to me, caller, yeah, man. To me, and this is just me, right? When the question was asked, I was listening to the radio on I-95 when Dale and Tony asked him. So, as a former union leader, how do you feel about these workers being sent home? He said, based on the situation that the company has found itself in with corruption, they are collateral damage because the company has to be dissolved because of the corruption and the feeding frenzy. So my question will always stand. If they had closed down TSTT when he was the union president because of corruption and sent home workers, would he say, I'll agree? He will never agree that it is collateral damage. Never. Hello, good evening, caller.
Yeah, caller, good afternoon, Pastor. Good night, evening, Pastor Google, and to your guest there. Good night.
Good evening.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, someone is now reminding us also, I'm being reminded also that you said just now that the Tobago CPEP workers was sent home under the PNM. Ma'am, I would like to just correct that information. It was not directly under the PNM. It was under the Farley administration, which is in charge of the THA. So it wasn't directly under the PNM tenure, actually, I believe, right? So that's just, I wanted just to kind of clear that up. Because at a certain time, Farley was saying that he's the Prime Minister of Tobago and certain things was done in a certain manner. So if you want, you could just clear that up fast, please. Thank you.
All right. I would really like to get that information because maybe I missed that. That went over a lot of people's head when Mr. Marvin Gonzalez would have sent home workers, URP workers, because CPAP workers, because I always hear Mr. Farley saying that CPAP in Trinidad and CPAP in Tobago is different. The THA is the ones that pay, they have no contractors. They are the ones that has pay the workers, they are the ones that has hire the workers. Trinidad, the government in Trinidad and Tobago don't have any say where CPAP is concerned. That is why when they closed down CPAP in Trinidad, Tobago was never touched. Because it don't have any contractors like that in Tobago. The contractors is the Tobago House of Assembly. They are the contractor, they are the ones that hire, they are the ones that fire. But when you said just now that PNM would have sent home, so I was thinking that it had to be Mr. Ansel Roger.
PNM is the government that was in office.
No, you mean Mr. Ansel Roger? I mean Mr. Ansel Dennis was the what do you call him? The what Farley is now?
What I can't recall off the top of my head, but okay. What I can tell you is whether it's under Farley, it's under who. All I'm saying is the PNM government was in power. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, right? I would like to see that. I would like to check that out.
And I would send it for you tomorrow, God's willing.
Yeah, because it's confusing. Even if the PNM government was in power, I know that Farley was in the head of is the head of Tobago. The government cannot tell Farley to get rid of CPEP workers. That's what Farley has been saying, you know. Fali has been telling us, and Fali has been touting that on the political hustings for the THA elections, that the Prime Minister UNC cannot tell them close down CPEP or send home CPEP workers because the PLM couldn't tell them that. So that was kind of confused. I had to call Fali because I want to understand. All that. Oh, you telling me? You tell me that UNC can't send home CPEP workers, but PNM in Trinidad send home CPEP workers in Tobago? I'm confused. Well, I'll check the document. No problem. Hello, good evening, caller. Yes?
I have one contribution. Good night. I just want to make. You know what is this whole conversation going on right now with the PNM with the CPEP workers? So the union ran out to defend some CPEP workers in Tobago who they claim got fired under the PNM. Thousands went home under this dance party and they run out and say anything. That is all my contribution is, which just goes to show that is one measure and stick to the PNM and a different one for this party they call the UNC. This is Dandy, and to all the listeners, good night.
All right, Dandy.
Good night, sir.
I would really like to check that. God, Fali would have said that to me. Fali said that CPEP falls under the THA, the House of Assembly, not under the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That is real strange. Then Fali, let me don't say that. Hello, good evening, caller.
Yeah, Pastor Gould. Pastor Gould, I think you are right. If PNM may have been the government at the time, but Fali was over the THA. I wasn't done by the PNM. It was done by the administration, the THA. Right? So it wasn't the PNM who sent them home. I think it was people was crying victimization because at some point in time we are hearing something like what we can say them saying anybody have any plan and they go in room and this and
but Tallman, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Tallman. When did Fali came into office? Not 2022?
2022. I gotta Google that.
Yeah, we had to check that out.
I'll make a call and check that out.
Check that out and call back and let me know. Anybody on the live, tell me when did Fali get into the THA? If it was in 2022.
The
first time. Yeah.
Yeah, because...
Sorry, Tallman. Hello, good evening. Hello, caller.
Hey, pleasant good night, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pastor, good night. I have a question for the lady, Miss
Joanne. Go ahead.
Miss Joanne, yes. Miss Joanne, in concerning with the new board on TSCT right now, right, for the workers and stuff, recently, but I'm from Superior area, recently Digicel, right, they have had an announcement, but they had a program, an initiative recently launched, and they have covered a whole network area, right, full coverage, right, fiber optics, everything, and for Urupoots, Point Forte, Superior, and Penal. So they have gone full fiber optics and everything. I'm listening, well, I know TSTT, I haven't heard any, improvement from TSTT, but I mean, listening to the conversation for the hour now, and the amount of, well, I will consider that as a young person, I find that is wastage, right? Because I doing a little studies in AI open AI assistant right now, right? So I trying to understand what has the board now present anything, I just want to know from you, because I know you're going to get it from the government anyhow. You're going to get a different story, right? But what has the board presented to the workers and say moving forward, what initiatives going to take? Because I think Digicel actually with that movement, because somebody made a joke, I was there in the conference and they make a joke and they say the rivalry in TSCT right now, and that should be a major concern for you, your union and your workers. That is my contribution for tonight and the question asked.
Thank you, caller, for the question. Now, I wouldn't be able to say what is the board's presentation because we don't sit with the board. The board would have meetings with the CEO and, of course, representatives of the company. As the people said, that is a little over the union's head. We are not involved in those high-end meetings. What we are involved in are meetings called executive forums, whereby this is chaired by the chief executive officer of TSTT. And I want to just place on record that the company has presented, let me use that word, presented some very exciting things that the public will soon be in receipt of. And they have listened to the union because that same concern that you just spoke of, we spoke about 5G deployment, we spoke about a plethora of issues, we spoke about digital transformation, what it could do for health, for Tobago as a smart island, we spoke about e-learning, things for immersive learning for education. Those things, it's moving from what they used to be to a more company. And I want to say tonight that based on the presentation that the company shared with the union, we are comfortable that TSTT will be making a lot of changes that the public would be enhanced with their customer experience, because that is something that, is affecting the country, and we are losing customers to Digicel, but most of the customers are coming back, right? But and I'm speaking collectively, union and company, because the union can't survive without TSTT and TSTT cannot survive without the union. So we are both working together, and I could ensure and tell you that the things to come from TSTT will be just as good or even better than Digicel.
All right.
But I can't speak to what the board would have presented because I don't sit there.
All right. Before I take this caller, so I got some information from one of the CPEP workers who got sent home from Tobago, Ms. Joanne, and they're saying to me that I was correct. CPEP Tobago is run by the Tobago House of Assembly. When the Tobago House of Assembly does their budget, they budget for CPEP. And they were saying that you all are representing them based on them being sent home from the House of Assembly, not Trinidad. And she said,
no, I said the THA. I said against the THA.
Yes, the THA.
I just said the PNM was in power, but I did say the THA.
Yeah, the THA. But Fally, Augustine, they won the election in 2021. So that matter in 2022 falls under Fally Augustine. Not PNM, not the PNM government. It falls under Fally Augustine. So that matter that you're talking about there, the person just sent me the information and she's saying that you all are representing them against the House of Assembly, which you just said, which is Fally Augustine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is Fally Augustine. Has nothing to do with Trinidad and PNM. Hello,
all I'm saying is the PNM was the government in power at the time. That's all I'm saying. But I did say THA.
Yeah, but that doesn't fall under them, the PNM at that time. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
With respect to now we all know that this is a government that is intent on, as they said, capitalizing on idle capital. The Prime Minister came out and said that she's not spending any money on public entities, public utilities that are losing money and so on, right? The difference with TSTT and the others in the system is foreign ownership. And my concern is, and I don't know if you're not concerned about this, now that there have been periods where TSTT would have put staff and send and give people separation packages and so on. Some of them will later re-employ as contractors in the entity doing specialized work, right? My concern is you not at all concerned about any moves that the board may recommend to the government with respect to the shareholding. And they're saying that because when you're looking at non-cash settlement for other public sector workers who have gotten the 10%, my feeling is that a board may be directed, and may be directed in a not so subtle way that, listen, we think that if all you could monetize or we should give up some of the local ownership and make a recommendation for some minister of finance or fiscal people. And they say, well, yes, if you sell up this percentage, whether you put it in NEL or you sell it to the other shareholder, which is cable and wireless, that we could realize certain monetary gains that we could use now to settle some of the promises we made to maintain this 10%. And I'm saying this is a reality that the union should not ignore, but could happen based on the geopolitical situation and the money crunch where foreign exchange is concerned. And I'm saying, if this is a concern for your membership, if you discuss that in your is a good idea, that might be a possibility concerning the shareholding in the company. Good luck, and I like how you're calling out your former colleagues and asking for accountability from the labor movement. And you just stand that if it was good under the PNM, it has to be good under any administration. Thanks a lot, and continue to do good work. Solidarity forever.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, caller. So just to respond quickly to the caller, because I was hearing him a little in and out, but I practically got the gist of what he was asking. So when it comes to that type of arrangement, that goes to the root of a further discussion. And that would have to be taken to our executive and by extension our general counsel. Because anything that we have to now accept or consider outside of the provisions of the collective agreement, that is something that is not a decision that will be made by the Office of the Secretary General nor by the Executive Board. That is something that we'll have to take to the General Council. But concerning the ownership and the divestment of the shares, that has been a conversation for as long as I can recall. That has been a conversation since under Joseph Remy, since I came on the executive from 2014. Since 2014, we have been speaking about that cable and wireless shares. We have been speaking about workers getting investing ownership in the company. We spoke about all of these things. So to answer your question very directly and pointedly, we remain that, listen, something needs to happen. But when we're talking about ownership, we also have to study the big P word, which we are also hearing a lot of talk being bandied about, and this is privatization. So I wouldn't want to get into that too much, but just to answer you very quickly in terms of cash, non-cash, and that kind of thing, anything that would affect retroactive payments or anything like that that is above the norm, that will be a decision for the general.
Oh, okay. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good night, Pastor Google.
Hi, good evening, sir.
I put a little different spin on things where Commodore Ojiri is going tonight. Tonight, earlier on in the news, the mention was made, if I recall correctly, a comment by her about trade unionism dying.
Right.
Or dwindling. My question is, in light of the situation with the nurses and the comments made both by, or lack of comments from the Minister of Health and Mr. Gopi Singh, in light of the incident, the situation with Tutor, in light of the situation with the lady from South, the contractors workers union,
right,
and in light of the standing of the two bigger unions in OWTU and PSC, what does Commodore Ojiri envision for the 19th of June, Labor Day, where we stand as a union.
I can tell you from now. I can tell you from now. All the unions going down price about.
All right.
Everybody going and hug up and say, hey, we are one. Miss Joanne, am I wrong?
Labor Day is sacred. Labor Day is sacred. The meaning behind Labor Day is sacred. And I would want to say very openly, we do not, and as I said before, we are not making this thing personal. We have to remember the sanctity of Labor Day. If a union is not present at Labor Day, then that will speak volume. But what I'm saying is, we need to remember what Labor Day means, and I would leave it as that.
All right, caller, so you get your answer there?
That's exactly what I was hoping to hear, but I would wait and see what the 19th will bring.
No, but she answered. Wait, just now. To be honest, she answered the question.
And I hear you on that, Pastor Google, but as a former shop steward, I ain't like what I see him going on.
What you don't like? What you don't like? No, you're talking to the president here. You're talking to somebody from union shop steward to a member to tell her what you're seeing that you don't like.
Frankly, to start with, I would start with the government, and as I say, the ministers, whether it's junior minister or full-fledged minister. All right, let me mute the TV and listen to all you. Here, the situation where, again, on the news tonight, and I hope people in Trinidad are paying attention to it, that you have a situation where a number of media houses have been trying to get responses from junior ministers to ministers to the prime minister, and like nobody answering the phone again. All right, and then you have the other side, well, the other spin to it for me. And yes, I love my Labor Day. I beat FISO plenty times, and I was one of the dread ones for my union where there are certain things I don't do. I never drank liquor going FISA for the simple reason that I have always made the point, even to the younger people on my staff, I made the point that yes, we support the union for the struggler workers, but do we ever take time to understand that a worker in Charlie King lost his life in a very violent manner because he was sent by his bosses to deal with Butler in a certain way? Right? And the crowd decided, nah, he ain't getting Butler today. And the man was doused with petrol and lit a fire. I'm saying that when I look at how trade union leaders are, as she was saying tonight, how quiet people are, how do I now come to a forum to say I'm going and embrace you when the support seems scant in terms of what is going on within the whole movement? Because the movement bigger than any individual union or any individual leader, you know. This is how I see it. And I am just saying that the silence, the deafening silence from some people as leaders of trade unions is something that I find very disturbing. And I would leave it at that and listen off here.
All right, Ms. Joanne, you want to share?
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Ms. Joanne,
so I understand exactly what the caller just shared, and I mean I would have he placed it into context, and it is on that premise that I made my contribution today. And that is when I explained before, using the example of the poem, when they came for this one and they came for that one, they didn't speak up. But then when they came for me, I had no one. And that is what is going on. And all I am urging, and my exact statement was, if we do not speak up as a movement, then what we are going to see, the trade union movement, and by extension, unions will become dead. That is what I said. And he placed it into perspective. And that is why we are saying we need to not only say we are the voice for the voiceless and the downtrodden and this and that, but when they are downtrodden and voiceless, they are not hearing our voices. So I understand what the caller is saying. And I could understand that to be the general concern of the public. by extension, and it is a growing concern with members of the trade union movement.
All right. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, Pastor Google. I want to agree with the lady, Ms. John, but how could you in the same breath say that Charlie King Junction is sacred, Faizabad is sacred, when we see what have transpired from April last year to now, and thousands of workers went home, and you all are hearing it's like the man on the ground is saying that the unions have, once they get a pound of flesh, once Rojan then get a pound of flesh, that's all. Because how could the unions go to Faizabad and hug up with this government after a year of devastation in this country? If it was the PNM was in power, they would have ripped the PNM to shreds. But I want to agree with Pastor Gould. Like if it was Chambers, Mr. Manning, Mr. Rowley, or anybody who leads the PNM, they would have ripped them to shreds. Like some different something to this government. Although people are hungry and die, people kill themselves before she guys kill himself because he cannot feed the family. We have unions who been reading the papers, who know all these things is going on. Jesus Christ said that if one go astray, he will leave the 99 and go after the one. Oh God, you mean with the unions on the same concept? We seen people hungry, single mothers hungry, people on the ground begging, the people dying, grocery prices going up, and nobody in saying nothing. And Faizabad coming back again and going hung up in Faizabad with the government again. And to what? People wouldn't differentiate between the good lady there and Roger. All they can say is unions, and understand that the man on the ground, the average man on the ground, they want somebody to stand for them, and they are not getting that from the unions, because it seems like everybody since April last year gone silent, right? And Pastor, go one more point. What I was listening to news tonight, and I heard that they bring in midwives, in East Indian midwives from India. And I don't know what the union is to say about that, or when the nurses is concerned in this country. What we have a shortage of midwives in this country, that they could bring midwives from India.
Well, Mr. Stewart did speak on it. Mr. Stewart.
And I was about to say that. Yeah, I was about to say he's the person. Yeah, he's the person to speak on that.
He said that most of the times these people use this as a opportunity or a stepping stone to get into the UK and other countries. All right.
I want to say what I'm thinking, but I will say it.
No, don't say it now, because I will get in problems.
I know.
Problems already.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Joanne, I know I've kept you long enough. I want to thank you very much.
But let me just before you wrap up, let me just I want to just say something to that caller. And caller, I hear exactly what you're saying, and I want to also say that the unions marched with Dr. Rowley, Faizabad. They marched, they went last year, and the Prime Minister and almost her whole cabinet sat on the platform till it didn't have seat for trade unionists. And the Communication Workers Union and a couple other unions, we didn't partake of that because we were upset. And that is when I said Faizabad is a sacred place. I understand what you're speaking about, the Charlie King situation, and you may not find, that, and I respect that. But what we, view Labor Day as is sacrosanct. And what we are saying is, we felt, a number of trade unions felt disrespected that at the point in time, Labor Day, where we're supposed to go and talk about the ills of the working class, was like a campaign, was like a cabinet meeting. So I'm saying all of that to say it's not the first time a prime minister went in Faizabad, you know. But it should not be continued. It shouldn't even have to reach to that. We must always be able to draw the line in the sand and say worker, government. And at the point in time, once we draw the line in the sand, we would always be able to be like 5 or 6 of the 15 unions under JTOM. That said, and we get to licks for it today, because they're calling us fence sitters and that, but it's not about that. It's about being independent to call any government to account. So, in closing, I just want to say, Pfizer will always be something that every single trade unionist, once you understand the history of labor and Labor Day, what it represents, it will always be something passionate and sacred to trade unionists. But what it has become, and I hope June 19, 2026, would not be a repeat where they would come on the stage and have the Prime Minister and maybe some members of her cabinet turn it more into a political rally than what it is meant to be. And I would like to close with that.
All right. Thank you very, very much. And well, we have a date, eh?
Sorry? We have a date?
Yeah, we have a date. We planning to have all the other union colleagues on the platform.
Right.
Miss Lady, you married you are married lady, you know, no.
No, not on that. Yeah, I own that. But thank you for having me. And I mean, Pastor Google, in these type of conversations, we would never be able to always have people see things the way we see it, and that's part of constructive criticism, and I appreciate that. Right. So thank you for having me and for all the contributions by the callers. I also thank you for them.
You're most welcome, and I hope that, and well, let's make sure and have this done before Labor Day.
No problem. I will get on that as early as next week, Tuesday, God's willing.
I appreciate. Let me just give you how much.
No problem.
We currently have 716 persons on the live stream, which is a lot, eh?
Okay.
At this time of the night. Okay. At this time of the night, that's a lot. And the persons who viewing overseas and others, we have 2,701.
Wow.
I'll send it for you. Yeah, that is the kind of traction that the kind of conversation that people are locked on to, and they really want to hear what is happening. Mm-hmm. All right. So again, we have work to do.
Definitely.
Which is to continue to educate the masses. You have to educate them, and if you don't educate them, what will happen? They'll continue being
Trinidad and Tobago, let me just say this very quickly. Trinidad and Tobago, we had to move away from the readily acceptance of foolishness. And they're playing smart with foolishness. This taxpayers' money. So we need to call out the Minister of Public Utilities. He needs to answer to the public and call somebody to account, whether it's the chairman or somebody from the board of directors. We cannot leave this to go like this. We cannot. It's $165,000 a man approved on his own without the Minister of Public Utilities permission / approval. Call them out. Thanks for that.
You're most welcome. Talk to you soon.
Take care. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Hello, good evening.
Good night to that. Good night, Pascal. Good night to the young lady there. A true fighter. All she calls them left, they sell out for 30 bag of silver. They come out and for them now. But we gotta make Barry the minister. I believe you also be there too. Yet again, Lex. That is the ministry, your questions to answer. So make him bulletin when that's ready to call him march now, man. Because I was saying the last regime was wicked and oppressive. When we see more wickedness and more brutality under this regime, especially to the lower class and the poor people who are victimizing left, right, and center. Right down the show, go to them, break down all the vendors, put all kind of thing down there. They say we wasn't coming out and talking, and we wasn't marching. I was marching for the last 1,000 years and burning fire in the last regime. And this one, Pastor Girl Kingsley, Hungry Mouth Kingsley, he was crying when I take back his contract. He get big now, he play like he did big UNC. When he was down, UNC headquarters down, he was crying for doubles and roti.
But Ole was there supporting him.
Boy, Pastor Google, when I fighting a political war, people who fighting and trying to play like the best thing now for certain ministers to hear them, for them to get a recommendation. They try to use me as scapegoat. I don't understand in this game, this game stink and dirty, It have no loyalty in this game. We're back to Hungry Mouth Kingsley, talking about sometime I've done by the parliament, and I say, I endorse him, something next prime minister and he making. He preach and talk that and talks, I say, I watching Kingsley, everybody meet him and say, oh, Kingsley getting on, so he was crying, telling me about to take back the contract, man, and we're going to do, you go start to walk naked if you get it back. But I understand that toxicity to get through the night. You have to have one real colors now, that's the color dancing now.
All right, have a good night, eh? You have a good night. You don't give me no problems.
Concern tonight over reports that the North Central Regional Health Authority may be moving to recruit more than 100 midwives from India.
The potential decision comes as local nurses continue to raise alarm over staffing shortages and unresolved salary negotiations. President of the National Nurses Association, Edie Stewart, is warning that the move could worsen tensions within the system. According to him, bringing in foreign midwives is not the solution.
What most of these nurses generally do, because English is not their first language, because of that language barrier, UK and the US often require them to demonstrate that they have worked in an English-speaking country before they can be registered within the UK and US and whatnot. So most of these nurses will just come to use Trinidad and Tobago as a stepping stone to get to foreign jurisdictions.
Stewart says because of a breakdown in communication with management, he was unable to determine the veracity of the claims. He says information obtained from secondary sources suggests the local regulatory board has already been engaged to process the foreign midwives. Meanwhile, Stewart is also keeping an eye on the government's response to actions being taken by nurses.
We hope the government is not planning anything to restrict the freedom, our democratic freedoms that we currently enjoy in Trinidad and Tobago. And they would not do anything to diminish the voice of persons who are just simply articulating their displeasure at the current status quo.
But efforts to contact Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo and the NCRHA chairman were unsuccessful.
Concern tonight over reports that the North Central Regional Health Authority may be moving to recruit more than 100 midwives from India.
The potential decision comes as local nurses continue to raise alarm over staffing shortages and unresolved salary negotiations. President of the National Nurses Association, Edie Stewart, is warning that the move could worsen tensions within the system. According to him, bringing in foreign midwives is not the solution.
What most of these nurses generally do, because English is not their first language, because of that language barrier, UK and the US often require them to demonstrate that they have worked in an English-speaking country before they can be registered within the UK and US and whatnot. So most of these nurses will just come to use Trinidad and Tobago as a stepping stone to get to foreign jurisdictions.
Stewart says because of a breakdown in communication with management, he was unable to determine the veracity of the claims. He says information obtained from secondary sources suggests the local regulatory board has already been engaged to process the foreign midwives. Meanwhile, Stewart is also keeping an eye on the government's response to actions being taken by nurses.
We hope the government is not planning anything to restrict the freedom, our democratic freedoms that we currently enjoy in Trinidad and Tobago. And they would not do anything to diminish the voice of persons who are just simply articulating their displeasure at the current status quo.
But efforts to contact Health Minister Dr. Lakram Bodo and the NCRHA chairman were unsuccessful.
Let's talk Point Fortin Borough Day 2026. His Worship the Mayor, Alderman Clyde James, would have made a statement this morning regarding an update on Point Fortin Borough festivities with grave concerns. Firstly, the government would have allocated a measly $75,000 for culture and festivals in Point Fortin for a Borough Day festival that has $1 million bill attached to it. We were reminded that the last administration would have elevated Point Fortin Borough Day to a festival in accordance to the National Festivals Act of Trinidad and Tobago. And to respond to this, we would have wrote the Minister of Culture, the Minister of Tourism, the Minister of Sport to seek sponsorship, assistance, partnership for Point Fortin Borough Festival. Until this day, there have been no responses, no commitment, no support, and no recognition from these ministries to really and truly put forward a Point Fortin Borough Festival that the entire country looks forward to. As a responsible council, the mayor would have also met the MP for Point Fortin, Mr. Ernesto Kiza, for further partnership to host the Point Fortin Borough Festival. And he would have promised to be the liaison between the government and the council. Until this day, there have been no further discussions, no concretized commitment by the government, no concretized support from the Member of Parliament, no commitment from the government through the MP for Point Fortin Borough Festival, and it raises the question, if the MP is respected and even recognized by his UNC peers, and if it is they are working together to deliberately destabilize and to undermine the Point Fortin Borough Festival. What was even worse was the revelation by His Worship the Mayor that Heritage Petroleum, a company in all of its incarnations who have supported Borough Day for the past few decades, have this year withdrawn their support for Point Fortin Borough Festival. This is the first time in history that our local oil company has refused to support Point Fortin Borough Day. NLCB, a company who the MP may have some sort of influence over, has also stated that they are refusing or they will not support the Point Fortin Borough Festival this year as well. My dear friends, the partnership with these agencies and companies is what makes Point Fortin Borough Day distinct and unique from any other community festival in the country. And this year, they have decided to turn a blind eye on you. My dear friends, Borough Day impacts all of us. Our businesses, our food vendors, our hairdressers, our barbers, our taxi drivers, our decorators, our party promoters, all of them depend on Point Fortin having a safe, a robust, and a bumper Borough Festival to boost their businesses in these challenging times. And that, my dear friends, has been undermined by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the mayor would have, of course, said that we are working quite hard to still put on a festival that all of us can still be proud of, despite these challenging, dangerous, vindictive circumstances. And we will update you accordingly, but this is, of course, our reality today. And this is what is happening with Point Fortin Celebrations 2026. Thank you.
The Culture Minister reveals that more than $16 million was spent on the Flavor Village initiative for Carnival 2026.
In a written response to a question from Senator Janelle John Bates, the ministry outlined a total cost of just over $16.1 million. The largest share, $13.5 million, went to contracted services. Another $1.4 million was spent on promotion, publicity, and printing, while security costs totaled more than $725,000. Smaller sums were allocated for facility construction and short-term employment. The ministry also disclosed that contracts were awarded using a mix of limited bidding, single-source selection, and requests for proposals.
The Culture Minister reveals that more than $16 million was spent on the Flavor Village initiative for Carnival 2026.
In a written response to a question from Senator Janelle John Bates, the ministry outlined a total cost of just over $16.1 million. The largest share, $13.5 million, went to contracted services. Another $1.4 million was spent on promotion, publicity, and printing, while security costs totaled more than $725,000. Smaller sums were allocated for facility construction and short-term employment. The ministry also disclosed that contracts were awarded using a mix of limited bidding, single-source selection, and requests for proposals.
Nowhere in there you heard about artists, eh? Nowhere in there you heard about artists. Just food for you, food for thought. So you're hearing what's happening in Point. You heard how much is spent on flavor. You don't know how much was spent on artists. And I played for you the clip where Tallman would have asked about the nurses coming from India, the midwives. Let me come off this live before I say the wrong thing. So, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to thank all of you for being with me this evening on Constructive Talk. I want to thank Ms. Joanne for being with us, and all of you who would have joined us. Thank you all very, very much. Talk to you guys on Monday. No, on Tuesday. Monday's Easter Monday. Let me take a rest now. I can get a rest Easter Monday. I work Monday going here. I work Monday going here. Be honest, I work Monday going here. So I can get a day off Monday coming. Please and thanks. Put it in the chat, yes or no. Put it in the chat, yes or no. You think I could get a day off on Monday? Because I work Monday going here. Monday was what? Monday going here was Baptist Liberation Day. I worked that day. Could I get a day off Monday coming here? Please and thanks. Huh? So you all can type it in the chat, yes or no, if you think I could get a day off on Monday. I'm waiting to see what you all would say in the chat. I'm waiting to see. And remember, please make your contributions to any First Citizen Bank. Please make your contributions in any First Citizen Bank. All right? I'll appreciate it. I hold that. It goes a long way. People say no. Somebody say yes, you can. Who else saying? I want to see what people would say. I'm staying on a little while longer to see what people would say if I can take the day off on Monday, seeing that I work Monday. Somebody said no, Pastor Google. Really? Nah. No, Pastor. We need you on off. Okay. No. Only if we don't hear any hot news. Okay. So they say only if we don't hear any hot news. All right. Cool. Anybody else want to tell me what you think? Can I get Monday off? No. No rest for that. What? No rest? No rest for the chosen one. Okay. Anybody else think I could get a rest? No rest for the wicked LOL. Wow, I wicked. Okay. I'm waiting to see what you all think. Akagarias? Yes. No. No off. Come on Monday. Wow. Granted, somebody said. Anybody else want to say if I can? No. Oh gosh. What is this boy? No, but people, look, somebody said no, yes? Yes. Wow. But somebody said not that king of wicked. Not that kind of wicked, boss. I know you're making fun. I saw the LOL at the end. I read the LOL at the end of your statement. I know that you were making fun. I know that. Come on. I'm not so tight, you know. Somebody said what? No. Oh gosh. Yes, take that day. Enjoy yourself. No. Yes. No. Somebody said, yes, Pastor, you have a family. Yes. Thank you very much, Thank you very much to the people who saying yes. Oh, Lord. The people saying no, yes?
Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk. Final Hour Christian Ministries invites you to their annual Visitors Day service. End of days. Where are we in 2026? On Saturday, April 25th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Mandela Hall Center of Excellence with Pastor Mackenzie and the Final Hour family. See you there.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Blessed good evening to you, a blessed good day to you, and blessed good night to you, wherever you are viewing this advertisement today. I'm just to remind you that this coming Friday, make it a date with destiny. There is a word in the prophet's mouth that is going to bring you out. I tell you, it's a good evening. And it's a good day, and it's Good Friday. So you want to join me, yours truly, Apostle Dr. Corey Grant, for a time in his presence. Hallelujah. You want to join me in this location at 166 Quinnipiac Road in Vistabella as we come together as a people on this Good Friday morning to lift up the name of Jesus. Hear me. Something good is about to happen. Something good is in store. And bring the family out. Bring everybody out. I want to meet you there. I tell you, there is a word. There is a word. And I want to tell somebody looking at me right now, you are scheduled to overcome. Join me this Friday, Good Friday, 10 a.m. right here in the house. Don't just meet me, beat me. I'm looking forward for you. It's a Good Friday, and Good Friday, good things happen. Stay on the wall, don't come down. God bless you.
The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.